Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited to jump in today's crafting video because it's something that I have been asked to do for such a long time and I never just got around to doing it. But when I found these molds, I knew I had to do these. So now that it is September and I'm like officially putting out like all my Halloween decor, I wanted to use these spooky mini molds to make some car Freshie vent clips. So that's why I'm obviously in my car right now, because I am putting these car vent clips that I just made into my car. So I thought while I was gonna go ahead and do a tutorial for you guys, why not also do an experiment within the tutorial? Because I've seen a lot of different people glue the vent clips down with like hot glue and super glue and whatever else. I've also seen people attach them after they're done baking. I've seen people put their clips in before they even bake the Freshies so that the clip bakes in the Freshies during the baking process. So I thought I'd go ahead and give you guys a tutorial, but also test out all these different ways to attach the clips to these vent Freshies so that you guys don't have to do it and waste your time and money if it doesn't pan out, and so that you guys can see how each one holds up and which way works best. All right guys, so if you're excited to see this tutorial on how to make these car Freshie vent clips, then keep watching. I also want to mention, whether you're making them for personal use or you're going to be selling them, it's important that you know that you should not put these vent clips on your vents if you're going to have your heater on, because it can actually cause the Freshie to separate from the clip, whether you glue it or bake them in there or you attach them some other way afterwards. It can cause the clip to separate from the Freshie and the Freshie fall off, which then could leave a residue on whatever surface the Freshie falls down in the car. Or in extreme cases, if they have their heater on full blast and it gets really hot, some of these Freshies could actually melt inside their vents, and you do not want to be held responsible for that. So just know that whether you're using these or selling these, it's important that you know to only put them on your vents if you're going to have cold AC while these Freshie vent clips are on them. Okay guys, so for this craft, you're going to need quite a few things. You're obviously going to need your aroma beads, your mica pigment powder, and your fragrance oil. I already have my beads scented and ready to go. Here, I'm just using some leftover beads that I had because it's not quite enough beads to make like a full size Freshie, so I thought this would be perfect for these mini ones. And then you're obviously going to need your mini either cookie cutters or silicone mold. So I got these from Joann's. This was in their Halloween section, obviously. They're just mini little metal cookie cutters. So I'm going to be using these to make some of these vent clips. And I'm also using this silicone mold that I also got from Joann's in the Halloween section. This is like a little potion silicone mold. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is like little engraved details in the bottom. So those will show up on our Freshies and we can decorate those further later. So I am going to be pouring some beads into this silicone mold also. So I'm going to be trying these both out today to make these car vent Freshies. And then you're obviously going to need these vent clips for these car vent Freshies. I got a big pack of these off of Amazon. And you'll notice that they have like these little rubber sleeves on them. You can take those off if you want. I have heard rubber sleeves actually melted together, which obviously prevented the clip from opening up to put the Freshie on the car vent. So they do sell packs of these that are just completely metal and they don't have the rubber sleeves on them. But I have not tried these with the rubber sleeve. So I thought I'd try out these Halloween molds that I got and use these rubber clips to test them out for you guys, so you guys don't waste your money buying them if they end up not working out. But I'm also going to do a little experiment with this because I've seen a controversy around people putting in the vent clips before they go in the oven versus after, or even gluing them on. So I thought, why not kind of do an experiment and test them all out in one video, so that for those of you that haven't tried them, you can see which way you like best and go with that, while also saving you time and money, which is always a plus. So I'm going to be baking some with the car vent clips inside the beads before they go in the oven. I'm going to be putting on some after they come out of the oven, and then we'll just kind of see how they all turn out and figure out which is the best way. And then I'm obviously using some cookie pans to put my molds and stuff on when they go into the oven, but other than that, that's all you need. So all of your same regular car Freshie supplies plus mini molds and your car vent clips. All right guys, I'm super excited to try these out, so let's get started. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna be using some beads that I already have ready to bake. So just in case this is the first Freshie video that you just happened to stumble upon, whenever you are prepping your beads to get them ready to bake, and for every 3 to 4 ounces of your aroma beads, I use 1 tablespoon of fragrance oil with a pinch of mica pigment powder. So anyways, if you haven't made Freshies before, I definitely recommend checking out my first Car Freshie tutorial video where I walk you through the entire process from start to finish. But if you already know what you're doing or you've already seen that video, then obviously you don't need to go watch that. So for these, I'm just going to be using these beads that I already have scented. So I'm just taking this little plastic spoon that I have, and I'm just pouring these beads into the individual mold cavities. Now you'll notice that I'm filling up these all the way up to the very top. With like normal Freshies, you can get away with filling them up like 70% of the way, but with these smaller ones, they do kind of shrink down. So I just definitely recommend filling these up all the way. Otherwise you're gonna have some really thin Freshies, and these are already small as it is, so you don't want to enhance that, you know what I mean? And I will point out that all of these beads are different scents. Normally, I would never bake different scents together just because I don't want to risk, you know, the scents kind of like blending together when they're baking in the oven together. But because these are just experimental ones, and I will probably be using these in my car and my husband's car and maybe my other family members, so I'm not really being particular, but I definitely don't recommend baking different scents together. You could obviously bake, you know, as many different colors as you wanted, as long as they are the same scent. I just wouldn't recommend doing different scents. I have been asked that before, so I just wanted to cover that. Okay guys, so like I said, we are doing some experiments here. So first I'm going to put a couple of just the vent clips with the rubber sleeves in, and we'll see if these melt together. I'm not sure what they're gonna do, so we will see. But if you're putting in your vent clips before you put them in the oven, you have to push your beads just above like the center of the vent clip so that it is like completely in there. But I've also seen people complain about you have to like keep an eye on it because obviously your beads kind of melt and sink when they're being baked, and your vent clips can also sink, and I've heard of people's like lean over while they bake, so I just want to warn about that. Okay, so I have my 2 vent clips with the rubber sleeve on them. So now I'm gonna put in 2 vent clips without the sleeve. And then for the rest of these, I'm not gonna put a vent clip in because we are going to put them on after they bake to test that out. So just to show you guys exactly what I was talking about as far as just having some beads like barely covering it. I don't know, like hopefully you guys can see that, but you see how I just have barely a few beads like in the center covering those vent clips. You don't want to put too much in the center because it will melt, and then your clips won't be able to completely go onto the car vents in the car. Okay, so I'm just gonna slide these out of the way, and then we're gonna work on the metal cookie cutter ones. Okay guys, so here is all of our mini metal cookie cutters. So cute. So we have a little bat, a little tombstone, a little pumpkin, a cauldron, a skull, and a ghost. So the first thing I recommend doing anytime you're working with any metal cookie cutters is taking some cooking spray and just barely spritzing some on the inside, just so it makes it a little bit easier to demold the Freshies later. Okay, so with these, same thing. Okay, so with these, I'm only gonna do one without the rubber sleeve and one with the rubber sleeve. And I'm gonna leave the rest of these clipless so that we can attach them after we bake them. So I have my oven set to 300 degrees and I'm gonna bake these somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. Usually it's right around 6 or 7 minutes I'm pulling these out, but because I have some that are like super skinny compared to others, I'll just have to see. And because I'm gonna be baking both with metal cookie cutters and the silicone, I may have to pull out one before the other, but I will be sure to let you know what I end up leaving them in the oven for. Okay guys, so it has been exactly 7 minutes. I'm not sure if these are even done yet, but I saw that some of these clips were sinking. So I thought I'd pull these out and show you what we kind of have to do from here. Okay guys, so I just have a towel covering my hand, but I'm just going to stand the clips back up. Hopefully they stay. So I can tell they're not completely melted, like they're obviously not done. But they were in for 7 minutes and these clips already started leaning. This is why I don't typically do them this way, but I just wanted to show you guys. Okay, so back in the oven. Let's see if these hold up. I think they'll only need to be in for maybe like 2 more minutes, maybe. Let's check on the metal ones here. Oh, see, like these are laying flat too. Okay, same thing for these, just another couple minutes. All right, you guys, so they have been in for about 2-3 more minutes. So they've been in for about 9 to 10 minutes and they look like they are done now. All right, so as you guys can see, the clips obviously fell again, so we will have to fix those. But really quick, because I just pulled them out and they're still very hot, this is what I like to do whenever I make vent clips. I push them in right when I pull them out because these will kind of like cure in there. You just gotta push them down, but just be careful to not push them down so hard that you're pushing the bottom through the front of the Freshie. So just to show you guys kind of up close. So I'm just taking it and I'm literally just pushing it down. Like so. Okay, now I'm gonna go back around and put my towel over my hand again and kind of fix these other vent clips that kind of fell that were baked in with the Freshie while they're still hot, because while they're still hot, like when you first pull them out of the oven, they're still like pliable, like you can mess with it because the beads are so hot and like melty. And then I'm gonna leave these two over here without vent clips because I want to show you guys what they do if you super glue a vent clip down or if you hot glue a vent clip down, because I've seen people do both. So just to give you the full panel of all the different ways that everyone attaches these vent clips, we're doing them all. We're doing super glue, hot glue, baking them in with the Freshies, inserting them as soon as they come out of the oven. So once these are completely cooled, I will pop these out and then we'll move on to the super gluing and hot gluing and we'll see how those turn out. Okay guys, so our little car vent clips are completely cooled, so I'm gonna pop them out of their molds. So you see how that just slid right out of there. So here is our first car vent clip all done. Super cute. And just like with normal Freshies, I like to take some scissors and just trim all the spiky edges just to make it kind of look more completed and not so jagged. But you absolutely do not have to do this. This is just a personal preference. Okay, so I have trimmed my car Freshies. You see how it's like nice and flat now. It just looks a little more finished to me. So just to show you guys, because we're gonna be doing like a little test with all of these. So I'm wiggling the car vent clip and it's not really loose. I feel like if I obviously really tried, it would come up, but I think this is safe to put on a car vent and it's not just gonna pop right off. I'm obviously pulling on it and it's not coming right off. If you don't remember, this was one that we pushed in, like as soon as these came out of the oven, we pushed this car vent clip in there. You don't see it through the bottom. As long as your beads are like pigmented enough, you really shouldn't see the clips because you're not pushing them all the way down, or at least you shouldn't be. But I have noticed typically if I do like a white one, which we do have one here, you can see it just because you have to use quite a bit of the white mica pigment powder to actually color the beads. So as you can see, this is pigmented white, but it's still kind of clear because there wasn't enough mica powder in there, I guess. But we're gonna be decorating this one, so hopefully you won't see it as much after it's all decorated. But even if you do, it's okay. Okay, so this one, same thing, wiggling it. And it's not coming out. That's one that we pushed in there right when they came out. Okay, so this was one of the ones that we baked the clip into and it started to tilt over. So we fixed it, put it back in the oven, let it bake a little bit longer. And when we pulled it back out, it was tilted again and we fixed it while it was still hot. So I'm curious to see how secure these actually are because we had to like mess with them so much during the baking process. Okay, so here it is. I love this little bat, it's so cute. Okay, so honestly, I feel like these are definitely more secure than the ones that we just pushed down in there as soon as they came out. I mean, as you can see, it is like really in the Freshie, but it's also a little crooked because it just tilted, you know, every time we fixed it. So when I put this clip on my car vent, my bat is gonna be a little bit crooked on the vent. So hopefully this doesn't just like fall right off my vent, but we'll see. So I mean, overall, if you wanna like, you know, babysit them and you don't mind doing that, this is, I think, more secure than the other ones. But for pretty much the same result, to just push them in as soon as they're done, you know, like why would you not? That's just so much less work and hassle. And same thing, this one is really in there well, but it is also crooked, which I don't know if you guys can even tell. Hold on, let me trim this down. Okay, so you see how the clip kind of like tilts over there. So same thing, hopefully this goes on my vent all the way without it falling off, but we'll see. All right, now for our silicone mold. These are always like super satisfying to pop out. And they're so cute. Look at our little designs in there, you see them? So these I pushed down in there and they're pretty secure. They're a little wiggly, I think because these are so thin, but still pretty secure. And these we baked in there with them, and as you can see, they're pretty crooked, but they're super secure. So I think overall, this just goes to show you, when you bake them in the oven, they are more secure, but I definitely see more of them on the front side because you have to kind of finagle with them when they tilt and stuff. And you also have to babysit them, which is kind of a pain, just for them to end up crooked anyway. I don't know if that's worth it. But most importantly, I wanted to show you guys this. So these were some of the ones that we baked with the rubber sleeves on in the oven, and they did kind of melt together. Like I can't even pry this clip apart because it melted like right in that center there. Yeah, like I can't even pull that apart. So if you're going to bake them in the oven with the beads and you're gonna babysit them, only use the ones without the rubber sleeves on them. So I definitely wanted to point that out before I move on to these clips that we're gonna glue on here. Okay, so just to show you guys how these turn out, because I've seen people glue them and they've had problems with them. So I thought I'd go ahead and try my hand at it and then we'll see how it works out. So I'm just using some basic super glue on one, and I'm just gonna drop some right in the middle there. I'm gonna hurry and put our vent clip on, and I'm gonna hold this here and I'm pressing down pretty firmly until that super glue is kind of dry enough to hold it. Okay, and then on this one we are gonna put some hot glue right in the center there, and I kind of like globbed it like that on purpose so that when I press down it's gonna go up through the tiny little hole that's in the bottom of that there, just to kind of hold it further. Okay, and while I let those completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and decorate my other ones while we're waiting. So for this ghost, I obviously have to draw like a little ghost face. Okay, so there's my little ghosty. He can just chill with the rest of the ghost on my table here. And then on the skull, we'll also do a face. Okay, so don't make fun of my little Scully, okay? I'm trying to be quick. And then I think on the pumpkin, I'm gonna do like a little jack-o'-lantern. And then on this little tombstone, I'm just going to write R.I.P. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna show you guys how these glued ones came out. So first, here's our hot glue one. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. So you see how the hot glue is kind of like overlapping the middle there. You can kind of see it. So I basically just kind of like piled it on right in the middle and then pushed the vent clip down. You can kind of see how it like oozed around it. So it's in there, but if I wiggle this hard enough, the hot glue pops right off. So you can use hot glue. You just have to warn your customers if you're selling these to be very gentle with them. And I will say that I have ordered these from several different people and I noticed that they all hot glued theirs as well. And there were a couple of times where the hot glued clips were literally broken off from the Freshie itself before I even opened the package that they came in. So just make sure to warn your customers about that. Maybe offer like if they broke during shipment or something that you'll replace it or fix it or something for them. But with the amount of hot glue that I used, this is pretty sturdy. So you just can't use it sparingly. You really have to kind of put a big ball in the center and push this down in there so that it is completely inside of that hot glue. Okay, so now to show you the super glue ones, because the first time I tried this, I wanted to see what super glue would do, and I was surprised that it didn't even cure, ever. Like I have tried multiple times to try to get super glue to hold. I don't know if it's the aroma beads because it's like a plasticky wax, like it just doesn't stick to it or what, but the super glue just never holds. I've even left them like setting overnight, like put the super glue on, held the clip there, put some more glue on in the center once it's actually on the clip, and then didn't touch it and like left it there overnight, and it still wasn't cured to the Freshie by the morning time. So just to show you that, because y'all know super glue dries pretty instantly, and that is still wet on there. It's like not even drying at all. So super glue is a no-go from me. I would recommend putting your clips in right when you pull them out is my first choice and recommendation. And then my second recommendation would be hot glue if you're doing it properly. But I don't think I will be putting the clips and baking them in the car vent Freshies again, just because having to babysit them was kind of a pain. And then for some of them to just end up crooked and messed up anyway, even after babysitting them the entire time, just doesn't really seem worth it to me. Okay guys, so I'm in my car, so I just wanted to show you guys these vent clips in action. So boom, there's my little bat on there. There's our little ghost. And here's our little pumpkin. I just gotta be careful because the paint is still kind of wet. Cutie. And then I have this little potion bottle that I'm gonna put on this passenger vent. Boom. So there you have it. There's our adorable vent clips. Obviously I'm not gonna be keeping all of these in here because they are different scents, so that would smell pretty weird. But you can definitely count on that I will be making some more very soon. with all the same scent. But anyways, there you have it, guys. So as always, I hope you liked this video. If you did like it, please let me know by giving me a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a comment down below. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, be sure to click that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any other crafting tutorials. I'll catch you guys in the next one.